What's happening, man? What's going on? I ain't even pop up the bumper. I ain't even pop up the bumper because I want to jump in and say, man, yesterday evening, yesterday over everything for real was just one of them days. You know what I'm saying? It ain't start out bad in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It was just regular adventures of super dad. You feel me? But man, I'm gonna share. Let me get my IG together. I'm gonna share this quick story with y'all. It ain't nothing super long or intriguing or nothing like that. It just life. Life happened. What in the world is Jason looking at? Oh, he looking at these rats get trapped. The rat race. Man, Jason got braids now. What he got braids? He got braids now. Let me get my IG together, y'all. Live. Okay. You are live. Man, I set that up there perfect. I gotta remember how I did that just now. Cause I be struggling trying to set this up on my tank. And I did it perfect just then. Go, man, I put go tank YouTube. I said tank and I was typing tank. It said go tank YouTube. Go to YouTube. I said tank and I typed tank. Go to YouTube. That's if you want to see the charts. If you don't want to see the screen, stay on IG. All right, man. Quick story, then we're gonna get into it. First of all, Jolly Pies for not streaming at all yesterday. I put out in the Discord and I put out on Twitter that I wasn't going to be streaming in the morning because my youngest son had a appointment, right? So I had to take him to an appointment. I like to say God is good because it was an appointment with his neurologist. And for those that don't know, my youngest son Christopher was has epilepsy, right? This has been a learning journey for me. Like when I was growing up, my whole life and into my adulthood, I always associated seizures with something terminal. Everybody that I knew that had seizures died from some kind of illness. Every time I seen somebody in the streets that like died or something happened to them, they would be having a seizure before they died. I associated seizures with something terminal, right? So when my youngest son had his seizure, this ain't the story I'm supposed to be telling, but I'm just sharing. I started thinking about God is good, and now I'm sharing this, and I'm gonna share the other story too. But when he was 10, we were in Mobile visiting my mother-in-law. She was ill. This when everybody first found out she had cancer. She was ill. She was in the hospital. We were there visiting. It was Christmas Eve. We were getting up early to come back home. And out of the blue, he had a seizure in my arms. Well, he was on the couch and he has asthma. So I thought he was having an asthma attack. You know what I'm saying? And then when I went over there and grabbed him, I realized he was having a seizure. 10 years old, never had a seizure before. Nobody none of my kids had seizures. Nobody in my family, nothing. I went crazy. I thought my child was dying in my arms. Long story long. Fast forward to 2023. He's not had a seizure since in 2 years, right? He had one in Mobile, then he had another one the following year in October. It was just almost at a year. He had another one. It was almost at a year. He wasn't on medication then, so when he had that one, and then he had another one as we were leaving the hospital, and then that's when they put him on the medicine, right? Since he's been on the medicine, that was October 2020. Since he's been on the medicine, he hasn't had any seizures. And so when we went to the appointment yesterday, the doctor was like, hey, I'm not going to schedule you for any more follow-ups. We're at the point where it's time to wean him off the medicine. He's like, at this point, we just wait. He's like, it's at the point where we just wait. And then, you know, he had a student, a medical student in there with him, and he was talking to her, and he was like, this is like the perfect case that we want to see. It was like, he's on a very, very low dose of medicine. He's been seizure free for 2 years. He was like, this is the perfect case that we want to see, talking to the medical student, right? He was like, he's his EEG, he got 2 clean EEGs. We can't find anything wrong with him. He's on low dose of medicine, seizure free 2 years. He was like, so we're going to wean him off. You know, he's like, we're not going to schedule for any more follow-ups. Call me when he gets out of school, and I'll give you the weaning process. We're going to wean him off over 6 weeks. And then after he's weaned off the medicine, then we just watch him. And then if it so happened to be that he have another seizure, then we'll go back to the medication and we'll start back over. But I said all that to say God is good, because he answers prayers. Thus far, everything that the doctors have been doing has been working. Is not it's the doctors, for anybody who don't know, right? Like I didn't know, epilepsy is just the fact that you have seizures. I always thought epilepsy was a disease that caused you to have seizures, and it was something really wrong with you when you had epilepsy, and seizures was a side effect from what's wrong, a symptom of what's wrong with you. But I learned dealing with my son that epilepsy is just, you have seizures and they can't find a root cause. It's not linked to an illness. It's not linked to an injury. It's not linked to something just prominent, but you just keep having seizures. You got to have seizures within a time window. Like if you have seizures and then 3 months later you have a seizure, they're not going to classify you as having epilepsy. If you have a seizure and then you have another seizure like 2 weeks later, you know what I'm saying? Then you got multiple seizures within that window, then they're classified as epilepsy, and then they'll start doing deeper tests to figure out what's going on, and then they just use the medicine to control the seizure, keep you from having them. But story 1 to the side. Story 2. Yesterday, I go pick up Junior. Chris got video game club, right? So all my morning was taken up with Chris. Go pick up Junior after school, right? Chris got video game club. So we come back home, video game club don't get out until like 5:15. So I go in there, get the little snacks. When I go pick the boys up, you know, I have little snacks in the truck for them. You know, they jump in with the snackage. Timothy jump in. You got some hand sanitizer? Get to the snackage. Chris just jump in. Don't hand sanitize. It is what it is, right? So we come back home. We sitting here. I say, let me get up. I'm getting sleepy again. Let me go ahead and get ready to go get Chris. Jump in. I say, Timothy, hey, go in there. Put them them comforters and white clothes out, the dry for me, shake them loose a little bit, and put more time on it. Cause you know we ain't got no industrial dryers. It's like, you know, the big stuff ball up, then you go in there and it still be wet in the middle. So, you know, through the cycle, you got to go in there, unfold it, stick it back in. You know what I'm saying? So get in the truck, make a crazy noise. Oh, what was that? Right? Turn it off. Crank it up. Sound like the Grand Prix when I put 87 in it, right? What in the world? Right? Pop the hood. It start running, pop the hood, open the door. It smelled like the Grand Prix. I smell all kind of rich fuel smells, right? I'm like, man, what's going on? This ain't no carbureted car. Like, what's going on, right? Pop the hood. Everything under there look fine. I don't see nothing, no hoses bust loose, nothing hanging. You know what I'm saying? I don't smell nothing weird, nothing going on. Drop the hood down, right? Pull out it rev up the engine, going fine. Pull out the yard. At my house, when you come up we stay just as you coming down a hill. You ain't all the way at the bottom yet, but you off the peak. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know what I'm saying? It's coming down in the flat part, like probably 2 houses down. That's when you hit the bottom, right? So when you come up my yard, it's a little, when you go to that left, you going up. Man, when I hit my gas, by the time I got to my neighbor house, I think I'm like, I said, what in the world? Stop, put that thing in reverse, let it come back down the hill, back into my yard, right? Cut it off, crank it back up, acting right, put it in dry. I say, I'm gonna go down the hill, right? Start going down the hill. I get around I get up to the stop sign, get out there on the main street, hit the gas, bust that left and come back up the street right over there. Called my mom. Hey, mama, hey, can you go get Chris for me? He at video game club. She like, yeah, I go. What's wrong? I said, the truck acting crazy. I'm trying to make it back home now, right? So get to the house, sit there for a minute. I jump on. I got to jump on Al Gore's internet. Suburban, idling, rough, suburban, trying to turn off. I'm on Al Gore's internet, right? So looking on Al Gore's internet, I see stuff about a throttle body. I see stuff about it was something else they said, and the people's like, nah, that year don't have that. It's a fuel injection, so it don't have a carburetor, so it's not gonna have that. It's probably your throttle body. That's what everybody was saying in the thing, right? And then I'm like, man, but it's acting. I don't know what a throttle body do, right? So I was like, looking up fuel pump, right? I looked up fuel pump, and the fuel pump. I said, oh Lord, it's all up under the tank. I can't do that, right? And then the dude was saying the symptoms of the fuel pump was, his gas needle wasn't working right. And I'm like, damn, my problem. So I text my homeboy. WAP, right? And I was like, oh man, speaking of my homeboy WAP, I got my phone right there. But I text my homeboy. I said, hey, what's the symptoms of a bad fuel pump, right? And then he texted me back. He was like, asked me questions, and I texted him, and then he called me, right? And when he called me, he was like, I was telling him what it was doing. He said, well, when your fuel pump be messed up, it usually start your tank don't be acting right. I said, man, that's the same thing the dude said on the internet. So I don't think it's the fuel pump, right? Then he was like, when my sister called acting like that, it was that throttle body, right? And then I remember looking at the things about the throttle body, right? And I was like, okay. I was like, I seen something like that online, what the throttle body looked like, right? So I popped the hood. I'm still out there. He was like, the throttle. He was like, you know where your air filter thing is? I was like, yeah. He was like, it should be this big thing that's connected to the engine. I said, well, my air filter on the side. He was like, no, but it should be like a big thing that's connected to the front of the engine. And then I was like, oh, you talking about right in the front here? Like, yeah, because it runs from the air filter over to the engine. I was like, okay, here, like the throttle body shit right at the front. It should be like a connector on it, right? And so I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, I think I see it, right? So as soon as I get off the phone with him, he'll like, I got to go do something. I got to go look at another dude car. Then I'll pull up on you. So I go straight to YouTube, how to change a throttle body on a 2007 Suburban, right? Looked it up. Easy as pie. 4 screws and 2 hose clamps. I said, I'm in there. Straight. While I'm went straight to the website, looking up, trying to go to the auto parts store. Boom, looking up AutoZone, right? Going through. I said, you know what? Then I told Siri to call AutoZone. She called AutoZone. I'm out there unscrewing everything, taking it up. By the time they picked up the phone, took me off hold, already had the throttle body off, right? So boom, pulled the throttle body off, and then I get up there. Now, mind you, I called them. They told me they got it. I get there. The dude here like, man, I can't. They say we got one. I said, well, I talked to somebody, so they should have, they probably pulled it. So he going there all looking around, asked the people that were still working there. It was some dudes leaving when I got there, so they probably pulled it and put it somewhere, didn't tell nobody, right? So You're like, man, I'm sorry. Our other store up, over there, it's on the other side of town. It's on the south side of town. He like, that's the only one that got it. You're like, you want to pay for it? I said, nah, I pay for it and I get over there. So it's an O'Reilly's like right next door, like 2 buildings down. So I jump in the car, go to O'Reilly's, right? Sitting in O'Reilly's. I'm like, do y'all got that? They're like, yeah. Then so I'm sitting there getting ready to get it. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna have to order it. I'm like, I thought you said you had it. Oh, it's over at my Hamilton store. So I got to order it and they'll bring it here tomorrow. All right, man. I'm good. You want to pay for it? No, I ain't gonna, I need to lay my hands on it. So I go to the other store that Buddy AutoZone told me about. Now, mind you, now, I ain't got my cell phone. My cell phone was about to die. And I asked Calandra to plug it up. I've been gone for an hour and a half. I was trying to do it when it was still daylight because it was like 6 o'clock when she pulled up and I had took everything off. Mind you, now it's 7:30 now. And you know what I'm saying? It's 7:30. It ain't got dark. It ain't got my phone. I was like, Jesus Christ. I know she going crazy. Now I got to go all the way to the south side, get to the south side, right? Get over there, waiting patiently. You know what I'm saying? And then when I get there, I tell them, nah, they can't find it. I say, look, man, the dude said he put his hands on it, right? And then another guy came in named Mike. And then he asked Mike and was like, hey, you seen the threat? He like, yeah, it's right up there. I say, see, it's making sense now. Cause the dude at the other store, when the person answered the phone, he said, what's up, Mike Lowry? He was like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, it's making sense now. Your name, Mike. And he said, what's up, Mike Lowry? Boys, Bad Boys reference. He like, yeah, it's right up there. So Mike Lowry hadn't moved it. And he got it. He brought it out. I pulled it out the box, looked at it. It's the exact same. Came back, put it on. Between taking it off and putting it back on took me all of 10 minutes. Taking the throttle body off, putting the throttle body back on, closing everything up and shutting my hood. It took me all of 10 minutes. All of the time was spent going from this store, waiting patiently, that store, waiting patiently, that store, waiting patiently, driving back home. Took me from, because I started taking it off at 5:55, and at 6 o'clock, it was off the car. When I got back home in the pitch dark, it took me about 5 minutes to put everything back on. So 10 minutes of labor, 10 minutes of labor, and the rest of the time was going from store to store to store. Man. What you say, baby? I should write a book. What you say? What you talking about? Stop putting diesel in the truck. Tim is a true storyteller. Yeah, man. Exactly. It took longer to get the parts. It took longer to. It's the animation for me. He'll learn his shit. Hey man, y'all the best. I love each and every one of y'all except for that eraser liquor in the back. Hey, speaking of y'all the best, man, let's get into it. We've been on here for 18 minutes, but before we get into any price action, I got to shout out the members. I don't know how I missed these names. I don't know, because I remember shouting out Q. I remember shouting out 0100, but I don't remember shouting out this, because it went from E to like Q100, but I don't remember this day. I don't remember that name being in there, right? And they said joined 4 days ago. So I don't know how I missed that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I could, you know what I'm saying? Because it was E, then it went to them, right? But shout out Day, if I'm saying that right, and Trey Martin. Now, let's get into the members with the fancy dancy badges. You feel me? Because I seen a lot of fancy dancy badges. Shout out Erica with the fancy dancing badge. Cynthia with the fancy dancing, being a kid with the fancy dancing badge. Antonio Tribble got the fancy dancing badge. Max, the fancy dancing badge. Captain Kirk even got a fancy dancing badge. George Spruill. And now we get into ones that we already said. Philip Bryce. Yeah, we said them already. So Captain Kirk, Megs, Antonio, being a kid, Cynthia, Erica. Now we got some. Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. I ain't see these right here. SJ. Oh no, I saw it. I saw these. Yeah, I saw all these right here. Margot with the fancy dancing badge. Rich Genius with the fancy dancing badge. Sanjay. Michelle Tucker with the fancy dancing badge. Callio, Mendez, Kim, Laverne, DXM, The Racer Liquor, Kirk Max, Seawalk. I think we already did these. KC, Jennifer. Yeah, we already did these. Shout out to everybody with the fancy dancing badges, man. If y'all don't know what the badges mean, the green badge with 2 stars mean you've been supporting the channel in a financial way for longer than 2 months, less than 6. The blue badge with the 1 star mean you've been supporting the channel for longer than a month, less than 2 months. And then the solid blue mean you've been supporting the channel in a financial way for less than a month. Shout out everybody who been supporting the channel in a financial way. I really, really appreciate it. Hashtag winning. My hut can. Oh, hey, our anniversary coming up. Do you know what a few days will be? It's our anniversary. 16 years. Next week gonna be 16 years with me and my sweetie. You feel me? 16 years being married to this beautiful, that specimen of beauty. That specimen of beauty. Speaking of specimen of beauty, I didn't even do my intro. There she go back there. If y'all haven't noticed, she hanging out with us right here. And then, good morning. If this is your first time tuning into Tim's Tidbits, please allow me to say welcome. We usually don't start out with story time, but since I wasn't able to stream yesterday because of Adventures of Stupid Super Dad and some technical difficulties with my vehicle in the evening, I started out with a story time to share why I wasn't able to make it. But again, if this is your first time, welcome. If it's not your first time, I still want to say welcome and give you a nice hearty, well, thank you for always tuning in, hanging out with me and my homeboy Spidey back there, hanging out with me and my sweetie over there every single day. If you don't know who I am, my name is Timothy Lee Rogers Sr. I get on Al Gore's internet every day, once at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and once at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I talk about the price action. Why do I do this for the free $99? Because I want to help someone like you get your aha moment when it comes to trading, investing, all things stock market. If this sounds like something you're very interested in and you enjoy doing it in a light, carefree, but serious way, join us. We're on our way trying to get to 2,500 subscribers. We're almost there. We're somewhere around 2,270 right now, but please subscribe. If you already subscribed, please share it with your friends and family who are into this type of thing and say, hey, come on over here and hang out with the gang. Tim is a complete goofball, but his content, magnificent. Hey, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about the price action. Hey, guess what I figured out, y'all? I figured it out. I'm trying to click on the screen where y'all at to click on this button right here. I ain't gonna hold you. I just did that. I figured it out, y'all. I figured it out. Remember the other day when we were on here and it was showing that I had live data up here like this right here? I figured it out. If you look down here, it says Trade Station. I simply logged in to my Trade Station account. I tried it with both. I tried it with logging in as Sim, tried it with logging in as live. And guess what? It makes my ES data, it makes all my futures data be real time. The only thing about it is, since I got a free Trading View account, I'm not paying for it. There's only a 5-second delay, right? And when I click on it, it says data on our basic plan is updated every 5 seconds. Even if there's more updates on the market, paid plans feature faster data. I don't need it. 5-second delay is cool with me because I got real time in my Ninja Trader. If that 5-second delay get on my nerve, hey, I got Ninja Trader. But now I figured out what was giving me, because remember when I said I had logged into my trade station, I guess that day it still remembered that I was logged in, even though I thought I logged out. But what I think I did, I think I went to like see the list where I couldn't see trade station down there no more. If you click on it, it'll say see the list. And so it won't be showing that you're logged into the account. But that's how I was able to, hey, what are we doing? Okay. Y'all can see when I was up this morning looking at oh, speaking of this morning, I put something in the thing in the Discord. Let me talk about that. Y'all can see what this is what I was talking about in the Discord this morning. I'm glad I saw that. I shared something in the Discord this morning. I said I would never share anything in the Discord that I don't share on Al Gore's internet. And so let me go over here and share this, and then we're gonna get into the price action. I don't think that they're gonna be too eventful because Powell supposed to be talking soon. So that's why I'm kind of taking my time. I missed y'all yesterday. I wanted to hang out and chop it up with y'all. This morning at 3:24, I said the NQ is showing bullish divergence, but the dollar still not showing any weakness, right? So what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Let me I still got my line on. Do I still got my line on Ninja Trader? Yes, I do. Right here. So on the 15-minute chart, right here, as you see, the ES had made a new low. The Dow had made a new low, but the NQ was unwilling to make that low. So right here, the NQ was showing bullish divergence here, right? It was showing bullish divergence, but the dollar, right? But the dollar during that same time period, and put it on 15 minutes because these 1 minute candles right here. The dollar at that same time period was not relenting, right? The dollar was not relenting. It was making higher highs, right? The dollar was still making higher highs, right? And then even though there is divergence in between these two, meaning the dollar is making higher highs, but the ES is not making lower lows, right? We were getting the bullish divergence on the NQ, right? The NQ was failing to make that lower low at this time, right? But the dollar, right? At the same time, the dollar was still strong. You see what I'm saying? Because this is at 3:15, right? That'll be the 3 o'clock candle over here, right? No. That'll be the 3:30 candle. That's this candle right here, right? The 3:30 candle. So from 3:30, right, all the way up to here, right? See how it's going up on the, you know what I'm saying? Like from this, the 3:30 candle, that's the 3:15 candle is going up. Like everything is going up, right? Because the NQ gave that bullish divergence. So they started going up. But I said, but the dollar, let's come back here to the same, this the same candle right here. The dollar not showing any weakness. The dollar going up at that same time. That's what I was talking about right there. So since the dollar was going up as the NQ showed bullish divergence, right? I wasn't interested in trying to just chase anything because this is divergence with the dollar. The dollar showing strength is a sign that the indexes are going to be weak, right? And if this is showing strength, I want these to be showing weakness, but the NQ is showing strength. At the same time, the dollar is showing strength, but the other two are, you know what I'm saying, moving the way they supposed to be. So it's like, for lack of better terms, high resistance. It's high resistance in my mind, right? So that's why I shared that, because it's high resistance. The dollar wasn't showing the weakness to make me happy about trying to get the loan, right? So once it moved a little bit, and it gave me a look that I wanted to the long side to try to get my 5-point move at 412. I shared I wanted it to come back to at least 40, 56, 75, but it had other plans. It stopped at the close of the 323/322 bullish order block that was just inside the discount of the Pang leg, and slightly below the 325/320 5-minute BISI, just above equilibrium. I'm going back to sleep, right? So break that down. And the market is open. The market is open. The market is open. If you plan on trading, please trade safe. If you're not going to trade, please take a copious amounts of notes so you can go back and study what you saw today. I'll see y'all at 6:30. Now, break that down, Tim. I will. Let's go over here to the 1 minute. All right, we're going to go over here to the 1 minute, and we're going to go to this time frame here. As you see, this fib line right here, this fit, it's only got the 50% marked out, but it's a fib. This is the Pang leg that I'm talking about right here, right? Once we came down and took out the sell side, right? We came down, took out the sell side. This is around that 3 o'clock time when everything was running together. So we came down, took out the sell side. This was the Pang leg, right? This was the time where I want the dollar to be showing exceedingly weakness. But as you see, like I was saying, the dollar was still going up. It wasn't giving weakness, right? So this is the Pang leg, right? So on the Pang leg here, right, this is equilibrium, right? I said I wanted to come back to at least 40, 56, 75. Where is that right there? That right there would be this fair value gap. This fair value gap right here in the discount, right? That'll be this fair value gap that we didn't feel, right? As you see, we came down here and kissed the top of the fair value gap, stopping right there at this. Let me spread it out so you can see these candles. Right. And for the people that's on the phones, right, the 1 minute fair value gap that I wanted us to come back down and close is in between 40, 56, 75 and 40, 57, 50, right? So I wanted it to come back down and close that fair value gap. Why did I wanted it to come back down to there? Because we have a fair value gap, a 1 minute fair value gap that's at the bottom that I'm giving price the time to get back to. Once I get into the position, I'm giving that as downside risk, where I want my stop to be below that. I want my stop to be below this swing low over here. I want my stop to be below this low at 40, 54, 25. I want my stop to be down there. So I want price to come down to that. I wanted price to come down and fill that fair value gap at 40, 56, 75, because we had a that downside risk of the 1 minute fair value gap from 40, 55, 50 to 40, 56. And then we had a volume imbalance from 40, 56 up to 40, 56, 25. So it was like a 1 tick volume imbalance on the 1 minute. So in for the candle sake, it's the BISI at the 315 candle on Trading View. That'll be the 316 candle on Ninja Trader. And then the volume imbalance is in between the 315/316 candle and the 316/317 candle. That's where those PD arrays lie, right? So I wanted price to come down to there. As you see, price came down to the top of the 1 minute fair value gap, just below the equilibrium for the Pioneer leg was 40.5825. It dropped just below equilibrium into a slight discount, hit the top of that fair value gap, hit the bottom, the low of the order block on the 322 trading view time, 323 Ninja Trader time, that down close candle there, hit the low of that candle, and then it took back off and it went up. And then at what time was that when I shared that? At 4:12, was it? Yes, at 4:12. At 4:12, I called it right here. So this is where we are. Where 4:12. That's when I was like, hey, it didn't come back for me. I'm going to sleep, right? Because I was trying to get my 5-point move out of that. The way the price was trading, the reason why I sat around that long to try to see if I can get to 5 minutes, because I had got up. I don't want to get up for nothing. When it didn't give me what I wanted, I called it because I said, hey, price may just dilly-dally and wait for Jerome to speak tomorrow, right? And it looks like I wasn't wrong thus far, right? We moved down a little bit there, but look at that. These 1 minute candles, and look at the range that we stayed in all night long. All night long. Let's see how much of a range that is. Let's look and see how much of a range that is from peak to trough. From peak to trough, the lowest point. Wait, give me a box. The lowest point to the highest point. From peak to trough. And we'll go all the way up to. So for the whole up until 9 o'clock, from the London Open, peak to trough, from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we traded in between a 10-point range from 40.54.25 up to 40.64.50, a 10-point range from all of London, from London up until from 3 o'clock, right? From 3 o'clock up until 9 o'clock, we traded in a 10-point range, right? So, yep, what I was thinking was correct as far as not doing a whole lot. It looked like it's waiting for Roman Rome to say what he got to say. Let's look at the overnight price action real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the live with the black spiders. We had a small range during the Asian, right? Had a small range during the Asian. At 12, around 12, we started coming down. Made a low at 310, pushed up, took out the buy side above the Asian high, took out the buy side above the Asian high. Just kind of hung out in that 10-point range that I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Not doing a whole lot. And then at 8:45, we melted down and we didn't take out this low over here. We came close. We came very close to this. Is this yesterday's low? Let's see if that's yesterday's low. No, it's not yesterday's low. Yesterday was the 6th, right? Yeah, that's not yesterday. This is the low of the afternoon. We did not quite get there. This is the 3:30. That's the 3:30. That'll be 3:35 candle on Ninja Trader. So that's the low that we made at 3:30/3:35 candle. Right? We didn't quite get to it, but we did take out the sell side resting below the Asian. Like we took out all the sell side below the Asian. Yes, all of the sell side below the Asian time frame. We did not get down to yesterday's afternoon session low, and got a nice little rejection off of that. Got a 5-minute fair value gap. It's a SIBI at the 9 o'clock/9:05 candle. 9 o'clock on TradingView. Thinkorswim 905 on NinjaTrader. It's a couple back-to-back SIBIs. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down close candles in a row as we came down to take out that sell side. So overnight, it wasn't a whole lot of action going on. It was very, you know what I'm saying, muted, blah, price action. But it's been a continual down pattern since the Asian high at 40, 64, 50, right? We made that on the 405/410 candle, 405 for TOS and TradingView, 410 for NinjaTrader. Since we made that Asian high, it's been a continual downtrend, continuous. I say continual because it seemed like it's still pushing down. Looking at the daily candles. Let's look at the daily candles real quick. On the daily, like I said, we had got to that volume imbalance. That's also a new week opening gap. We had got right up to it yesterday. The low of the volume imbalance in new week opening gap was 39.8375, and yesterday we got up to, wait a minute, did I say 39? 40.89. No. Hold up, get it together, Tim. Open 40.83. 40.83 was the low of the volume imbalance / new week opening gap, and the high yesterday was 40.8250. So 2 ticks away from the volume, and we got a nice rejection off of it. Remember, that's the area that we have been watching, you know what I'm saying, to get the reaction if we want to go short. And I was like, be mindful. We are forming this fair value gap here. We came down, we took sell side, hit the order block, pushed back up, and now we get in the reaction off of the volume imbalance and new week opening gap, right? So this was the area, and I was like, remember, this could have technically been the short entry for the short, right? The way price was trading, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the short, but we are at that area. Again, if you still believe in it, we've had that reaction, you know what I'm saying? Look for, if it give you opportunity and pop up into some kind of premium, if you still believe in the short from here, hey, can't tell you what to do. I took a long down there, like I told you before, to ride it back up here, because once I saw price got so far down, I was like, let me try to ride it back up to this area that I want to short from, just in case it don't give me what I want on the short, I can get a piece of something out of it, right? So that's where we are there. We came back up to that spot. We got the reaction that I expected. Now, I would have liked for us to really attack this high and sell off, because if we really would have attacked that high, that would have gave us a weekly high on a Tuesday, and that will make me feel a little bit better about shorting it for the week. But if we come and attack the low and bounce off of this fair value gap and go up, that's going to make me a little leery of the short, because it's like it'll be making a weekly low on a Tuesday at a discount PD array. You know what I'm saying? We're making a weekly low on a Tuesday at a discount PD array. Let's look at the dollar real quick, see what the dollar looks like, because it's making me kind of leery about that short. Let's look at the dollar. The dollar. I'm trying to give y'all an extra little juice today, because I ain't get a chance to talk about price yesterday. And I know a lot of people, I mean, I ain't saying I'm nobody special, but a lot of people who like new to it and trying to learn, a lot of people tap in because they say they you know, they understand me. So I try to I'm trying to give a little bit extra today, since I didn't get a chance to go live yesterday. So on the daily, looking at the dollar with the ES. Okay, so the dollar they didn't make a, see this right there, this again making me feel good about the short. This making me feel good about the short again, because looking at yesterday, the dollar made a lower low, right? Which means technically the ES, you know what I'm saying? Oh no, that's today. That's today. Yes, that's today. Okay, so going from yesterday to today, the dollar has made a lower low, but the ES has not made a higher high yet, showing the weakness in the ES. That's showing weakness in the ES. So that's making me feel a little bit better about the short idea. Let's look back a couple of days. All right, we made this low here. We made a higher high, lower low. Coming from this high down. Yeah, see. Right here. See the weakness in the ES here. Yes, that's weakness in the ES right there. Yeah, it's making me feel better about the short. See how to eat like the dollar, right? The dollar going down like this right here. The ES should have been going this way over them days. Like that. Since the dollar was going down, right? And you really would be looking at the lows, right? Since the dollar was making lower lows, the ES should have been making higher highs, but it was making lower highs over those days, right? And then now the ES is popping up into this PD array, right? So that's making me feel better about the short idea because that's divergence. That's divergence. So it's making me feel better about the short idea that I had on there. Now, only thing I would have to do is just compare it to the NQ and the YM to see if they giving me the same signals. But that's the way I that's the way I use the divergence. That's the way I look at the divergence. To kind of like that same thing I did last night with the dollar when I was like, okay, the NQ showing bullish divergence, but the dollar is showing strength still. But now see the dollar, how the dollar is pulling back here, right? So if you look here, the dollar is showing, is like pushing up, right? The dollar pushing up, looking like it want to come attack these, this buy side up here, right? This right here is just pulling back. You know what I'm saying? It pulled back into this fair value gap, into this order block, right? And then as the ES was pulling back here, right? As the dollar started pulling back, the ES should have been pushing up, but it was still pulling back to this discount PD array, right? Now that it's popping up to this premium PD array, the dollar was going down when right here is where the ES should have been popping up, right? The ES should have been popping up on this piece of the leg right there. Put the lines back. The ES should have been popping up on this piece of the leg right there when the dollar was going down, right? Right. And then when the dollar, when the ES started making higher highs right here, the ES making higher highs over, you know what I'm saying, from the second, third, and the sixth, right? The ES was making higher highs, but the dollar from that same time period, right? The dollar didn't take out this low right here. You see, it's the lows getting higher and higher. You know what I'm saying? The lows getting like the low, since the ES taking off like this right here, the dollar should have been dropping off on these lows, but the lows are getting higher. Right? The lows getting higher instead of getting lower. Right? The dollar showing strength. The dollar showing strength while the ES is popping up to this premium array. That's the way I be looking at it. Like that. Hopefully I ain't confused nobody. That's all I got, man. I'm gonna go ahead and I ain't even gonna get caught up in the chat. I jalapies, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it Black Spiders. I'm gonna start the live as soon as I get off of here. Everybody else, If you're not going to trade, please take copious notes. If you are going to trade, please trade safe. I'll see y'all tonight at 6:30, barring any adventures of Super Dad. Black Spiders, I'll see y'all in a minute. Gone.